Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review for Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
So, Venom, Let There Be Carnage picks up pretty much where the first film left off. We're not really sure how much time there is in between the films, but Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, is still sharing his body with the symbiote Venom, the intergalactic slime sludge, and he has unfortunately broken up with his longtime partner Anne. Well, he did that in the first film, but never mind. He is in the midst of interviewing the serial killer Cletus Cassidy, played wonderfully by Woody Harrelson. I will say that about this film. The performances from both Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson are really, really charismatic. They're really on form, and you can tell they've invested a lot into their characters, especially Tom Hardy, who seems to be getting more and more engrossed in this idea of playing a dual identity. I mean, he does the voice for Venom, it's everybody knows that, but he seems to be getting those little extra details in there that are really, really fleshing out what he's going through. And just sort of racing ahead, for me, this film is at its best when it is dealing with the relationship problems between Venom and Eddie Brock. There are a few moments when it goes a little bit ridiculous with that relationship sort of, haggling and whatever, but you get a sort of mirroring between Cletus Cassidy and the symbiote Carnage as well. They do have really good moments where they're dealing with that. I mean, it is, for me, it's much better a relationship drama than it is anything else. There is the basis for what is a good idea here within this film in terms of that relationship breakup, but it makes some really egregious errors in judgment and doing things with the characters. The standout creatively nightmarish and pointless moment in this film is when Venom goes to a nightclub and just does some strange stuff, wanders around for no reason, pretending to be involved in this rave, which again doesn't really make any sense. I'm not sure what's supposed to be going on there, but he gets up on stage and grabs a microphone and starts talking absolute waffle. And it is waffle. It's just a waffling mess of nothingness that does nothing for the film. It's 5 minutes of for a runtime of a film that's only about 90 minutes long, it's 5 minutes of absolute pointlessness. Absolute pointlessness. And yet you have Michelle Williams, who is completely underused in this film. And yet there's a breakup story there as well. It doesn't quite track right. Yes, you should have this, these questions being thrown about, how Eddie Brock is living his life with Venom, hiding the fact that Venom is still alive from Michelle Williams. But you don't get anything more than that. It's all just filler. There are loads of filler scenes in this film that don't feel right, which adds to the overall tone just feeling completely wrong. There's a serial killer on the loose. Why are they waffling incessantly in a nightclub for no reason? Okay, there's more pressing issues than having a strop and going to a nightclub. It's I don't know what they were trying to do in certain parts of this film, and it is really disappointing, even more so given that, yes, you can see Tom Hardy's absolute passion for this character. You can see the sort of growth and enjoyment of him playing this dual role, and you get that with Woody Harrelson as well. You can see the enjoyment from it, and yet they don't utilize it enough. You get these rather unfunny constant jokes, sort of Deadpool light diet Deadpool jokes, I think I've referred to them to the missus, where he's bandying out comments, nobody else can hear, so it's only the audience that can hear it, and they don't work. The pointless, is gibberish, designed to give you a cheap laugh, like a fart joke in a Paul Feig movie. It's just rubbish, absolute rubbish. And like I said, it's disappointing given that this has so many talented players in it. You've got Naomi Harris, who's completely underused, just like Michelle Williams. Naomi Harris picks up this stupid sort of truncheon, the uh, the relay race from Riz Ahmed of completely underused villains. Really, she shouldn't have been in this film. It really shouldn't have been in this film because there's not enough for her to do. She's there purely as a plot device, really, to get Carnage from one situation to another and then back again. It's a damn shame, and it's annoying as well. The other fundamental thing wrong with this movie for me is that it simply has no impact. This film has a villain, Carnage, who massacres and murders people on a regular basis. We've had jokes in this film about, wanting to eat the brains of people, and yet we don't see any gore. I'm not saying you have to go all out and show us brains being eaten, but when Carnage is tearing up an entire prison, there's nothing to it. It's bland. It's plain. The color palette is there's nothing to it. I almost feel like there is a cut out there where there is actually gore. There are so many moments when the editing cuts out just before you see something, and it's almost as if they maybe toyed with the idea of giving it that little bit more of the gore of people losing limbs and things like this. I mean, Carnage throws people around left, right, and centre. He slams people into walls, and there's nothing. It's like they're hitting polystyrene. And I just wonder whether, because this is a 15 rated movie here in the UK, it's PG-13 over in the United States, and I'm just wondering if Sony bottled it, which is a damn shame, given that Deadpool, kind of just went with it and was a success because of it. But maybe they knew this is going to be a success anyway. I don't really know. But for me, the lack of impact of anything, with the violence, with the fighting, it pains me. It pains me. And I do wonder whether this film might have had a bit more sort of a jarring reaction if we saw actual people suffering because of Carnage, rather than just being knocked down and being presumed dead. There are brief moments of potential within this film. Smaller confrontations, discussions between the characters. When Eddie Brock is talking to Cletus Cassidy, and you're getting that sort of Seven kind of mystery going on where he's trying to piece things together. That's a better film than what we end up getting, which is just another CGI fest of mayhem. And yeah, okay, if you're after just a popcorn movie, then yeah, that probably will tickle your fancy and you probably will get something out of it. But I wanted more of this mystery, more of this sort of uncovering of the secrets, then finding out, this symbiote has taken hold of Cletus Cassidy as well. I didn't really buy the transference thing. It doesn't really fit with me. I'm not sure whether that is a feature in the comic books. Somebody could probably correct me on that. But it doesn't work for me. Really doesn't work for me. And if you're expecting something spectacular, then you're probably going to be disappointed, in all honesty. But if you're going in expecting what you saw with the first Venom, then there you go. I think you're going to get it. You're going to get it. Like I said at the start, this film, the first Venom wasn't my cup of tea, and this film even less so. It just doesn't fit for me at all. Sorry, got a bit of dry throat going on here. But yeah, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame. I wanted more, but the thing is, the after credit sequence actually saves this film. I think it really does, because it throws something out there that we probably all expected, to be fair. But it's surprising. I will say that it is really surprising. Surprising that they've gone full kilter to do it. Really is. I didn't think Sony would allow it, but it is going to happen. And given the track record from the previous film of showing something after credits that does go straight into the sequel, I think it is very exciting in that regard. that whole prospect given in the after credit scene is more exciting than this film alone. Honestly, watch this film just to see the after credit sequence, which will just it will make you question everything. It'll make you ponder everything. It raises some interesting questions, some interesting points. And we did hear the phrase of mutations being bandied around in this film as well. So anything goes now, I think. There you go. I'm going to leave it there. I don't really know what to give this film. I think I'm settling on probably a 6 out of 10. I think. No, I'm going to go with a 5 out of 10 because I didn't enjoy this film, really. It's okay in small moments. I am more disappointed in this film than I am the first one because I've wanted to see Carnage on screen for a very long time. This wasn't it. This was not the film for Carnage, for that chaos, for that absolute hysterical murder. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there because I'm feeling really disappointed. So I'm just going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.